under the D-Day attack. The command wolf Zoid joins the pack. A Zoid of the medium grade, the gleaming white wolf of steel made. Deployed to fight the ZA boss. The command wolf fielded at nuts. ZA boss, Zoids clash with Helic. Blast black rhinos and Riddler quick. Command wolf strikes is a deadly. Bite, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and busts and dilos too. See the Helic Republic through. But the command wolf Zoid falls short. The muscle machine needs support. Build a bear fighter for warfare. And the arrow, sir, it's fair. With ZA boss done, dilos comes. This new empire foe beats the war drum. Town soldier faces the wolf out. This new dilos war leaves no doubt. Command wolf strikes is a deadly. Bite, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and busts and dilos too. See the Helic Republic through. Command wolf strikes is a deadly. Bite, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and busts and dilos too. See the Helic Republic through. Cataclysm erases now. The strongest Zoids with a great pow. Revive the command wolf for war. The second dilos war restore. Command wolf strikes is a deadly. Bite, slash and shoot as a medley. Fights and busts and dilos too. See the Helic Republic through.
Command wolf strikes isn't deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as a medley. Fight, then it bats and dilos too.
See the Helic Republic through. For short, the monster machine needs support. Build the bear fighter for warfare, and the arrows are its fair. With ZA blast off dilos comes this new empire foe beats the war drums. House of the Fame is the wolf out. This new dilos war leaves no doubt. Cataclysm erases now. The strongest Zoids with a great power. Revive the command wolf for war. The second dilos war restore.
Command wolf strikes isn't deadly. Fight, slash and shoot as your medley. Fight, send it back and dilos too.
See the Helic Republic through. The second dilos war restore.